welcome to Ignite with Mwangala, with me, Mwangala Chakalashi Santosh. Now remember, the aim of this show is to bring you real people with real stories meant to leave a lasting and positive impact on your lives. Now, most women have been heavily impacted with the effects of COVID-19, be it in their professional settings or indeed home settings. Remember, the women have been at the center of it all, taking care of everybody else other than themselves. To look at this program, or rather to look at this problem, I am joined by two amazing women coming from two different worlds, but to try and give a solution to what seems to be a problem. I am joined by Donna Mshanga, who is a partner and a creative director of Kamanga Wear, and Chuulu Chansa of the Africana Woman. Ladies, welcome to Ignite with Mwangala.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
before we dive deep into this program, I just want the viewers out there to know that the amazing dresses, every time I rock in a beautiful dress, is compliments of Donna. You understand my body and you know what looks good on me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Now, that's not what we're talking about. Today, we're talking about the effects of COVID-19. Probably before we talk about COVID-19, and obviously all of us have been affected in a way or two. How did you come up with what you're now calling the Sombo makeover to try and answer the problem of women that have been at the center of this whole thing?
Well, me and Chuulu, buddies from years back, we linked up and I think she came to the shop for something, I can't even remember what. So we sat down and we were there telling each other our problems, COVID era problems. Yeah. And we found out we had a lot of similar experiences of the struggles that we've gone through, and we thought, we're not the only ones. A lot of people have been impacted by the COVID situation, and most of them are the women, because they are the ones that take care of somebody if you're sick. They're the ones running around to make sure you're fine. Somebody's eating, this one is doing that. So we thought there has to be a way that we could probably celebrate these women that go through a lot and juggle a lot of things in society, but nobody actually sits down and say, thank you for what you've done. Every time they're the ones pushing this, making sure everything is working, everybody's doing what is okay, everybody's taken care of. But nobody sits down and says, let me take care of you. You're always the one doing things for other people. So we thought we should try and work together and see how best we could try and celebrate women and tell them, we see you, we see what you're doing. We recognize, even if you don't get that compliment every day. We thought we could do a one thing that would be like a spotlight on you for all the things that you've done.
Wow, yeah. That's interesting. I think as women, we tend to run around for everybody else, and we forget about ourselves. I think the pain is that if you forget about yourself, if you're not okay, then everybody else is not going to be okay.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about the name. Let's talk about what this is. It a campaign? Are you calling it? I know you're calling it the Sombo makeover. What is it?
Yeah, so it's called Sombo makeover, and when we thought about it as a movement. Sombo in itself it's like a feminine energy that. It talks about a woman who is making things move without being too loud about it. She is a woman that is confident. When she speaks, people listen. When she looks around and she sees what needs to be done, she's able to make things happen without being someone who is pushy and overbearing, but she just has this presence about her that is calming to the people around her. She's a community. She's someone who is passionate about community, and because of her, because of who she is naturally, everyone around her benefits from that. So that's what we wanted to I guess ignite in people, to let them know that, in women specifically, to let them know that we see you doing all these amazing things, but you are the center, you are important. So it's okay to be selfish about your self-care. It's okay to say, let me put myself first, because when you're looking after yourself, then you are able to look after others properly. But if you're not focusing on yourself, then everything around you is going to crumble eventually.
Wow. Beautifully said. Now, two things that you talked about that are very profound, okay? Obviously, the first thing is first love. You know, this has to do with where we come from as women, you know, culture-wise. We are taught to be selfless.
Yeah.
So what would be your definition of self-love in this case be? Because I think that's something that we're not taught, right? From, you know, from a young girl, you are taught to be selfless.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, you're saying self-love is what is important. And Sombo, secondly, Sombo obviously is a name that is from Northwestern Province.
Yes.
Is there a particular reason why you chose that area? Or does this just bring all the women together?
Actually, when we first embarked on this movement, we actually didn't even know what to call it. We just wanted a name that would pretty much define every woman. So we didn't specifically say we want a Western name. We just found a name that defined what movement we were trying to put together. So Sombo was actually a perfect definition of what we identified as a woman that we were trying to target out there. So it's not specifically to what tribe. We just wanted something that was local, that would speak to your heart. And, you know, this is this. When we say this, we are speaking about you, a specific woman. When you hear the message,
actually, you know?
when you hear the message and you feel like that's me they're defining, that's me they're talking about. So that was what we wanted to focus on mostly with the name. And then what was the other question?
Self-love.
Self-love.
Yeah.
It's actually very important. I've realized specifically for me, there's been, because we've been brought up that way, everything is about do for people, forget about you.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you realize you're so stressed out, you haven't even taken care of yourself. By the time you've organized everything for everybody, you sit down, you're disoriented. So for you to get up the next morning and do the same routine over and over, eventually you lose yourself in doing that. So we've realized it's important to make time for yourself and love yourself a bit more, because that's what makes you stand every day and go on every day and do things for other people.
Yeah.
So you need to find the time to appreciate you.
Yeah. And and I'll just add to that. You know, Mwangala, I have personally been through a point where I got to a breaking point, you know. So in 2019, I had my side business, as we like to say, the side hustle, working full time, you know, looking after the family. All of these things became so overwhelming to the point where I would find myself in a car in the parking lot and I just break down crying. You don't even know why I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's just weeping, you know. I can't even drive. If I get onto the road, I'm going to have an accident. That's how unstable I was, you know. And that happened several times. I got to a point where I was depressed. I was in bed for 3 days, could not move. Now imagine when you haven't looked after yourself to that point where you cannot move. I cannot even get up and say, let me go and cook something for my child. I just did not have it in me.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
So at that point, that's when I really understood how important it is to put yourself first before you focus on all these other things in your life, you know? I think it's so important that you put yourself on the calendar. This is what I tell the people in, the women in the Africana women community and anyone that I meet. You need to be on your calendar. Everything else is on your calendar. Oh, George is going to sports today.
Yeah.
Oh, Habi has got this, you know, business
And if
meeting.
you look at the calendar, you're not there.
Where are you on that calendar?
Yeah.
You actually need to be very deliberate about putting yourself on that calendar and saying, this is the time that I'm going to just
Do me.
yeah, do me. Put this time
I
aside
like
for
that,
me.
yeah.
Because a lot of times, and then a lot of times I find with women, we feel scared to let go, and we think that if we are not there, then everything won't function. But that's not the truth. You just need at least one day you can delegate. You
and
know,
things will still move.
They'll still
right?
move.
things will
Life
still
will
move.
still
It
go
will
on.
still keep
Yeah.
going. But we think that, oh, because I'm not there, then it won't be moving. No, no, no. Go and look after yourself
First.
and then come
Yeah.
back.
I like your story, Chuulu, and it's every woman's story, I think, out there, you know, where at some point you feel like you're just going to break down, you know. So what are you doing to help the women emotionally, you know, mentally? Because I think it all starts from there. If you're not stable emotionally, if you're not stable mentally, it affects everything about who you are as a woman. Is there a program within the Sombo Makeover that is intended to address those two very cardinal issues? Or
Yes, so one of the pampering that will come with this, the Sombo Makeover winner is an interview with Africana Woman podcast. That's where we're going to have her sit down and
Share
she can
her
let out and then hear other women's different stories and see that she's not alone. We are a lot of us undergoing similar situations. And one other thing is a lot of women have literally, since you're looking after everybody else, you've forgotten about yourself. For a day, let's treat you like a queen. Take you to go do your hair, whatever hair you want, do a makeup, have a photo shoot for you, do a video, let you come to Kamanga where try on a few dresses, let's see what dress you like. Feel like a little girl again and all girly and twirl around and be happy. Just a you day for that day. So you can revamp that inner you that you've shut out because you've decided I need to take care of these other things.
True.
And I think, you know, one of the things that is also important to highlight is that, you know, the work that we do is very focused on the woman, the African woman.
That's both of you, Kamanga wear and
Kamanga wear and
Africana
Africana woman. So Kamanga wear, you know, the clothes that, the beautiful clothes that Donna designs really brings out the beauty that's inside of you and then brings it out. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you don't have to go far.
Don't even have to go far. So that's what she does. She accentuates what's inside and then brings it on the outside, right? So we thought, oh, you know, we really want to give somebody a dress that will just make them feel special. It will remind you that, oh, I won this competition because, you know, I should really remember to look after myself, right? And then when we look at the work that I do as Africana woman, is I create safe spaces for women to have these conversations, to let down their hair, to be able to say, you know what, life is hard right now. And
without feeling judged.
Yes, without feeling judged. You know, sometimes you don't know who you can actually go and have an authentic conversation with. And that's what Africana Woman does. We have these authentic conversations in our community, which is the Africana Woman Visionaries. And then on the podcast, you will hear all of these beautiful stories of women just, you know, sharing what they've been through. Very, very honest conversations, you know. So when you hear this, you feel inspired, you feel like you're not alone, and you feel like you can keep going, you know. So bringing the combination of what we do, I think, is so powerful because it allows the women to know that there is a safe space where they can actually have authentic conversations. And then even if you don't win, but it's still reminding you, you know what, pamper yourself, look after yourself.
Wow, I love this. I just feel like I should be part of the campaign. But obviously we're going to talk about that. We take a short break. When we come back, we talk about how does one become, or how do you enter? Is it a competition we're talking about? I mean, how do I sign up? What's the age group that you're looking at? And obviously we're also going to look at how different is this movement from, we have so many women movements across the country, but how is yours totally different from what everybody else is doing? We take a short break, and when we come back, we continue talking to the beautiful ladies. We take a short break, and when we come back, we continue talking to Donna and Chuulu as they talk about the Sombo Makeover. Stay with us.
Oh, Na Dudu.
Shawa sana.
Ndabola Dudu nywe tuganga dawa ababalombe. Ah, usimbi wangu bevo.
No tate babia.
Umtoka kama mukoko kabenzi nina.
Kutakulwa kamba toka kakasika coronavirus.
Ndawambira ndakwambira masiku tako niwati mvida. Mba ushupa mara ushupa waso.
Waile mama.
Mashtazi waile.
Kuri zinto zinjimwe.
Yizinto bani bakutshaya waile.
Oza. Ah, ndari yote. Iwe. Chachitika kunjengeni.
Ndaipompo nona.
Mtu wako olabereka kabotio. Wapembonera zinjinge.
Kwakasika ulwazi. Obulwazi batata tabuyanze kwendenda. Tabuyanze kwanzanya. Tabuyanze zokuja nkabantu banje. Obulwazi bulajaya. Apo obulwazi batata. Tabuyanze kanukuti chindi chonse nkamjani kabantu banje zokulumelesa nyanzi ape bulezi tondezo zakaina zokuteti muntu obulwazi ulabuchiswa. Zitondezo zakaina kulikuchiswa mutwe. Sini kolo mubiri kupia. Zitondezo zakainezi. Obulwazi bulikwabila kwinda mukusamba kumanza chinchonse ansipa amanzi clean. Apa kunana akate kwakaitwa kuti nzi cancer tiger.
Oho, hand sanitizer. Okay. Kubanga wakome naye, why? Kubanga wakome.
Remember to wash your hands with soap regularly. For more information, call 909. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health in partnership with Oxfam.
Hello and welcome back. If you're joining us now, I am talking to Donna and Chuulu, and we are talking about the Sombo makeover. Now, before we went on break, we talked of so many things, self-love, taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally. But I'd like us to go back to how you met, because what you're talking about is like music to my ear, We're all women here, but let's go back to how you met and how you came up with this very, very, very interesting idea.
I should leave that to you. I mean, if I started with your life story, I always get buried.
So what was that? I think it was
2009.
Yeah, 2009 around there, right? So at the time, I was also into fashion. So I had a fashion label.
Okay, you've also been into fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we participated in Zambia Fashion Week together, and that's where we met. And since then we've just been in and out of each other's lives, doing different projects together. And I think because we are so passionate about empowering women, and we're so passionate about being, embracing your Africanness, I think that's why we have remained friends for so long. I'm no longer in fashion.
Okay.
I just love to wear clothes.
Yeah. But you're very passionate when it comes to fashion,
Absolutely.
right? Okay. So how is what you're doing? I know you're now the Africana woman. Donna is still doing fashion. How is it complementing the Sombo makeover? I can actually see where the two are, but I'd like it to come from you.
No, because both of us, our main focus is women. Kamanga wear has always been rooted in women. From the time we started, our target was actually to dress African woman in Chitenge. Every time it was very difficult to dress an African figure in Chitenge because it does not stretch. So creating designs that are flowing and in Chitenge was a very, very big target. If you go back maybe 2010 when we started Kamanga wear, most of the Chitenge that women used to wear was a straight pencil skirt,
And that was
poofy
it.
Shoulder blouse, and that's it.
And you came in and made
Yes.
Chitenge look cool.
Exactly. So we
Yeah.
wanted to make Chitenge an everyday wear that was trendy with whatever cuts were going into fashion. And literally our target was, you can dress an African figure in that, in the same style that is trending out there, but in Chitenge, because African figures are crazy. Blessed are we.
Yeah, of course. Amen
At the
to
top
that,
here is
sister.
size 8, at the bottom here is size 16 on the hip. How do I dress that figure? So our mission was to make sure we are telling you, you can wear Chitenge in any style. Even if you have a proper African figure, we have you. So our focus has always been women. We've always experimented with women, rooted in women, and she's also rooted in women.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, just by the name Africana woman, you
Yeah.
can see where it's an African woman, you know.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
our mission is to celebrate African women. It's to connect African women, and it's to support African women. So whatever we do, whatever projects and partnerships we come up with, it's around those
Women.
three things.
I love that.
Yeah.
And there comes Ignite. I'm always in my Chitenge, you know. Now, let's talk about how far you want to take this beautiful story. You know, what if COVID ends today? What happens? Does the Sombo makeover still exist?
Absolutely,
Oh.
yes. Full blown now. Because it's not just the COVID situation that has women all worked out and stressed
Yeah,
out.
but now that's a problem you're looking at, right? That's a problem you'd like to address and give
addressing
solutions
the
to.
woman that is always working and doing all these things. We're not just saying it's just for the COVID era. It's every day. This COVID came and found the woman already hustling and
Yeah.
doing all sorts of things. It's gonna pass. She's still going to remain doing what she does. So we wanted to go on. We're not just want to do it because of COVID. We know COVID has just put a whole different level of stress on her already existing stress.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, slightly away from what we're talking about, Chuulu, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Okay. I like the way you define the African woman for us, because I think this is who we are talking about, right? I mean, I see the Sombo makeover going beyond the borders of Zambia, not just, you know, Zambia, but across Africa. Help us define who a woman is. And I know you've done that before. You do it so beautiful.
Who a woman is, but you know what? I always say a woman is unique, right?
Yeah.
Or any person is unique. But I think it's very important to understand, and I think especially in the African setting, for things to really, you know, move and to
Get things done.
get things
you
done.
know.
It's really the woman who is behind that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times, you know, we'll say, oh, there's this great man, and then behind him is a great woman. But no. She's always been great.
Yeah.
And
She's always
just
there.
because she's
the
not
one who's actually making
highlighted,
all these decisions
you
in the
know,
background.
exactly,
But
you
then
know.
in front of a man to say, I'm here. You know?
Yeah. So I think an African woman is someone who is resilient, someone who is creative, because, you know, in the economies that we have, to make sure that there's food on the table, you know, that it's not the same type of meal every day, you have to be creative. It's someone who is innovative, because a woman is, you know, she has so many things going on. And I kind of don't like to say side hustle. I think she just has a portfolio of different activities going on. You know, she may have a 9-to-5 job, but then she also has income coming in from different areas. And I'd really like us to move away from saying side hustles. That's not a side hustle, that's your business. That's just part of your portfolio of things that you are doing. So she is innovative in the way that she is making sure that, you know, she's able to provide for the family and, or, you know, just even for herself, you know.
Exactly.
And I think she is someone who is passionate and just full of life. That's an African woman for me.
I love that. Now let's bring this African woman in a home setup currently, in the current situation with COVID-19. She's the one who's plucking all the leaves, the neem tree
Yes,
leaves.
and for steaming.
For steaming, you know. And I'm thinking, that is innovation. I mean, this is what our great-grandmothers used to do in the past. If you remember, if you had malaria, they would go and pick all these leaves and steam. And the woman, despite her being in the boardroom, when she comes home, that's exactly what she's doing. And she makes sure that everybody in the house
has gotten their steaming.
And I like the fact that now you're saying, what about her? Because everybody else is steaming. What about her? Who is making sure that she's actually steaming herself? Okay, now let's talk about how do I sign up? How do I become part of the campaign?
So we have an ad on Facebook, on our Facebook page and our Instagram page for Africana Woman and Kamangawe. So you have to go to either page, either Africana Woman or Kamangawe. You find the link there with instructions. You just need to like the Kamangawe page, the Africana Woman's page, and follow them. And then you tag 3 of your fellow women, because we want as many women as possible to get to the pages and say, hi, we're looking at you. Are you there? We are looking for you. So tag 3 of your friends, and then let the movement keep going. Tag as many women as you can, then you stand a chance. So
when they come to your page, what are they doing there? Are they supposed to write their story? Are they, what's happening?
So, no, they don't have to write their story. All we're saying is tag 3 friends, share it on your page, and then like Kamangawe, and then also join the Africana Women Visionaries Facebook group. Because in the Facebook group, you will find that there's so much going on. There's lots of conversations like the one we're having right now. Yesterday, we had a pop-up masterclass with Samantha Ocheson Matumo, and she's from Kenya, and she was telling us about, you know, what it means to be successful. How do you define success for yourself? So we have those types of conversations. So we want to let people know that come and find this space which has been created specifically for you. You are the people that we're looking for. We want to have these conversations and we want you to feel safe.
Wow. Okay. So now how are you going to determine the winner? I'm just interested in this, you know, the finalists of the Sombo makeover.
Yeah. So what
who knows, it could be me, you know.
What we are going to do is everybody who has entered the competition, meaning that you've done all the 3 instructions, requirements, we're going to put your names in a digital, I guess, raffle, and then it will make a random selection. So, you know, it's going to be digitally. We even film it, and the winner will be picked. And then we're also having runners up. So it's not just one person who's going to win something, but our runners up, we have 10 people that are runners up, and they are going to win they're going to win a head wrap by Kamajo. And I don't know if you've seen Kamajo. Beautiful head wraps that she has, and yes, which are found in Sosi Mukosa.
Wow, okay, nice. Now let's talk about that woman who is sitting in Chawama, in Kanyama, because from what you're just explaining here, that is just intended for the some of us, so to speak, But I think the true heroes are the women out there that, you know, don't even have money to buy eucalyptus, for example, to ensure that everybody at home is masking up, or rather is steaming, or to ensure that the kids are actually masking up. How are you ensuring that they are also part of this movement?
Mostly we've noticed, especially that's why we went mostly with Facebook. A lot of people weirdly know how to use Facebook, including my mom. Who hates anything technology, but Facebook she knows. So we thought that would be the best platform to kickstart this movement and see how we move from there. We plan to make it a bit bigger than it is now. For now, it's an experiment that we want to see how best we can move and what would be the best way forward for the next one that we do. So this is a trial.
Yes, this is the pilot, and then
we'll see how much
eventually going to grow bigger.
And then I know we publicized it mostly on Facebook, but we've also gotten into our WhatsApps and sent these links to contacts that we have, so that if it's a daughter, you know, your mother is your hero, she does this, you can help her apply for it, and that way she stands a chance. So for now, we are literally focused. It's not the sum of us. We are hoping it to attract everybody.
You know, it's for everybody.
We are hoping it to attract everybody, and from how this one will go, then we'll know what would be the best. Perhaps next time, the whole Sombo experience will be in vernacular. So we target a certain kind of women that we know we can speak to you directly without it being all English.
Oh, fantastic.
So we're just hoping if we do our things right this time around, we'll know which direction we need to go next for the next one.
Great. Now we take a short break. When we come back, I'd like us to talk about how you determine the winner. Who is this winner?
Who is this woman?
Yeah. We take a short break. When we come back, we continue talking to Donna and Chuulu, and we're talking about the Sombo makeover. Stay with us.
Oh, Dudu.
Sawa sawa.
Ndabola tunywe tuganga dawa ababalombe. Usimbi wangu bevo.
No atate babia.
Umtoka kamya mukoko kabenzi nina.
Kutakulwa kamba toka kakasika coronavirus.
Ndawambira ndakwambira masiku tako niwati mvida. Baushupa marashupa bauso.
Waine mama.
Mashtazi wae.
Kuri zinto zinjimwe.
Yizinto bani bakutawo wae.
Oza. Ndari yote. Iwe. Chachitika kunjengeni.
Ndaipompo nona.
Mtu wako olabereka kabotio. Wapimbo zinjinge.
Kwakasika ulwazi. Obulwazi batata tabuyanze kwendenda. Tabuyanze kwanzanya. Tabuyanze zokuja nkabantu banje. Obulwazi bulajaya. Apo obulwazi batata. Tabuyanze kanukuti chindi chonse nkamjani kabantu banje zokulumelesa nyanzi ape bulezi tondezo zakaina zokuteti muntu obulwazi ulabuchiswa. Zitondezo zakaina kulikuchiswa mutwe. Sini kolo mubiri kupia. Zitondezo zakainezi. Obulwazi bulikwabila kwinda mukusamba kumanza chinchonse ansipa amanzi clean. Apa kunana akata kwakaitwa kuti nzi cancer tiger.
Oho, hand sanitizer. Okay. Kubanga wakome naye, boy. Kubanga wakome.
Remember to wash your hands with soap regularly. For more information, call 909. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health in partnership with Oxfam.
Welcome back. If you're a woman, I'm sure you're having fun because we're talking about you, and not to leave out the men, isn't it? This time around, the focus is on a woman because she's at the center of most of these things, especially in our home. If she's sick, everybody else is sick. If she's happy, everybody else is happy. That's how important we are. But obviously, men too. Now, let's talk about, before the break or during the break, we were talking about how interesting it would be to get a winner from, Kanyama, Chawama, all these far-fetched places, just to make it exciting. What are we doing to ensure that we get the numbers, we get this movement out there in those places? Because I think I'd love to see my grandmother or my auntie in these places, be spoiled on that particular day. Because I think we can, imagine if I won. I usually get these pamperings from time to time, you know.
Yeah.
But how can we make it exciting to make sure that
Well, you know what?
grandma-
If you are listening right now, I think you know women that have been through a thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So enter them. And even, you know, just go and submit. Even if it's you that wins, at least you'd say, you know what, it's not for you, it's not for me, but I want to gift
pass it
this
on to
to somebody who I know
Okay.
is, you know, would really,
Deserving
really
of this,
value
yeah.
and appreciate this makeover, right? And I think for us, you know, we just started this as, what can we do? What is that little thing that we can do?
To make a difference,
Yes, to make
yeah?
a difference. So we said, okay, we'll just throw it out there. Let's see how people respond. And then we'll do the best that we can with this
Yeah.
first try. And we're just trying because, you know, we've been in our WhatsApp, sending it to people.
And how has been the response?
Oh,
by the
it's
way?
been great. I think in the first 3 days, we had about 31 entrants already. So we're very excited. I haven't checked the numbers right now of how many people have entered
Oh,
so
wow.
far. So yeah, it's been great. And I think it's just about spreading the word. So if you're listening and you know someone who would benefit from this, go on and enter the competition.
Is there a limit as to how many times I can enter, or I can enter as many times as I
Enter
can?
as many as you can.
Okay. Do we have like what do we call
A
it?
criteria.
A code that you can enter? I know you've talked of Facebook, you've talked of going to your websites. How can we make it easy for somebody who doesn't have Facebook or WhatsApp? This is just me now thinking, because I want this to get to as many women as we can. You know, are you thinking maybe in the next one? Are you thinking of coming up with a code so that somebody can enter easily on the phone?
Yes, probably with the second one.
soft
With
code,
this
right?
one,
A
yes,
soft
we're still trying to see what would be the best way possible, because this is, especially with the first 3 days when we launched it, we got all sorts of, why didn't you do this way?
I know,
Why didn't
right?
you? Why is there
Yeah.
an age limit? And all of those things. So we are taking down notes of what
And making
people's
it
preferences,
better.
and then we can shape it out with the next one as better. We always rooted in people, so we appreciate all the feedback that people are throwing in and ideas of how we can do it best.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys are still on honeymoon because we just started. We don't want to talk about challenges now, because I know there are no challenges now.
No.
Let's talk about the time frame. You know, when is it? When did you launch? And when do we get to know who the winner is? And
So
when do you launch a second one?
All right, so we started on the 1st of August. That's when we started advertising, and we're running it through to the 15th. So on the 15th, we're going to close, and then we have to verify the people that have applied. So we have to make sure they've done all the different requirements, and then we'll be announcing the winner on the 20th. But because, you know, they have to go to Kamangaware to find a dress and then have the dress fitted, that's going to be on a later date, which will be around the 28th, where we're going to film the makeover. So, you know, you're going to see the before and you'll see the after, and then we'll have a big reveal early September.
That's interesting. I'm so looking forward to this. Trust me, I'm so looking forward to this. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges that you're facing, your women, you know, in your own businesses. I know you're doing this together as co-founders, but maybe let's just quickly talk about some of the challenges that you're facing, especially in these times, as the Africana woman and also as Kamangaware.
It's like open the floodgates. There's a lot of challenges generally. Women, especially with me, it's always been an issue. I'm a small woman built-wise. So if you, for example, go into a meeting and like, this is the director of Kamanga, like, really?
Yeah,
You get that already
really?
looked down, like, really?
I remember
She's
the
running
first
a
time I met
business.
you,
Yes.
I was like, oh, really? The mind behind Kamangaware. Wow, okay.
I know. So it's, as a woman running a business, people always think like, a woman is running, but hello, we run homes.
Yeah. So why shouldn't we run businesses? I
Yes,
love
exactly.
That.
So,
Yeah.
so it's always a bit of a challenge. I have to almost stamp myself in there. I'm like, yes, I'm doing this, because it's always being looked at, down at. You walk in, no, I want to do this, and they're like, oh, okay, she can do that. We run homes every day. We run lives every day. We are the ones pushing people to do this. Let's plan. We make the budget for the home. So we should be given more roles to actually lead, because we are good at it.
Yeah.
So it's always, business-wise, it's been crazy with the COVID. I can't lie. It's been a lot of challenges, because you are worried about your health, your workers' health, and then you have to run the business as well and make money when there's nothing
people are not
happening.
buying,
Everything has just come to a standstill. People are living in fear, and how do you get those people to still, especially for me, this is a luxury, where at the end of the day, people, functions were not happening. Kitchen parties, weddings are cancelled. Nobody feels the need to dress. A lot of people are working from homes these days. So how do you make money? When you make money by getting people to come to the shop and try on a dress and buy, they're not moving, they're in lockdown. So it's been a lot of challenges, but we're hanging in there.
Yeah. I think for me as an individual, I have lots of things going on, lots of things that I'm juggling. And, you know, I had a wedding cake business, just like Donna. You know, when you say no functions, no weddings, well, then what happens?
Exactly.
And, you know, I had a team who I had to let go. And eventually I did decide that I was going to close that chapter of my life and then focus on other things. And I think what has been a challenge is really getting people to understand what your vision is. In terms of, you know, I recently started Africana Woman, and, you know, to get women to really understand that this is a safe space, because I think, you know, women they've been in situations where they've been let down quite often, especially when it comes to women's groups. You know, they've got this perception that it's very catty. You know, people are just talking about each other behind each other's backs. People are not genuine. So when I come and say, you know what, this is a safe space. This is a space where you can really be yourself without being judged. People don't believe it on the first, like just me saying it. So then I have to say, come in, experience it. And then when they experience it, that's when they're like, oh, wow. And then they're always back every week, every time we have that function. So I've also had to shift tactics. So before I was doing a lot of physical events, but then had to now adapt to online virtual events. And, you know, that in itself is a learning curve. There's lots of things you have to learn about, you know, how to make that successful. How do you get the word out? How do you teach people to join the events and things like that? Because not everybody's on the same level, you know, technology-wise. So there's a lot, it's a steep learning curve in that sense. But I think another struggle has also been with finding the right support, the right people to help you with your vision, with the work that you're doing. I believe that it takes a community to do anything. I don't want to be out here being, oh, it's just Chuulu who's out there, Africana woman. No. It's actually a very amazing team that works on everything that we do. But getting that right composition has been very interesting. You know, we've had people that we've had to let go, people who've left because they weren't the right fit. But, you know, I think it's just being patient and saying, you know, the right people will come eventually. And also when someone does join the team, making sure you empower them, that they're able to be their best selves. So it's a learning journey.
Wow, beautifully said. Now, where do we see the Sombo makeover in the next 3 to 5 years? I know you're still on honeymoon.
We hope that probably in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, we should be doing this more often, because there's so many women out there that need recognition. There's so many women out there that need a pat in the back thank you for the job you've done with the community. So we hope we can do a lot more of this than the way we are doing it. If probably we grow it to a point where we can help like 5 different women at a go of that, pamper 5 women. That would be a lot of an impact, yes.
So do you want to still maintain the same concept where you identify a problem and then come up with a solution?
Absolutely.
For the women?
It's the best way we can help her because she's out there right now doing everything that she does for other people and nobody's looking out for her. So we decided, let's slowly, little by little,
one woman at a time.
This is the problem she's facing. How can we help?
Yeah. And I think one thing that we've also talked about, and I'm just going to throw it out there, is that we would love for this to actually be a TV series. So, you know, every episode we're helping a woman, you know, and it just goes on like that. And I think to be able to see inspirational stories gives so much hope to everybody. And everyone is rooting for people to, you know, to do well and just be better, you know. So we were really hoping that in the next, you know, 5 years, this will actually be a series.
Oh, wow. I love that. I think we don't really have a lot of support system as women, isn't it? I mean, today I can come to Donna and, you know, before I know it, Donna is telling Chuulu what I told her.
Yes,
and I like what you're doing because you create a safe zone, you know, a non-judgmental zone for a woman to come and express herself. And I think we've seen a lot of people actually commit suicide because they feel they don't have a place or a space where they can go and open up. And I just love what you ladies are doing. Now, I know we don't have a lot of time, obviously as a way to support the Sombo makeover. Ignite with Mwangala would like to be part of what you're doing so that lady will be given an opportunity to come and share her story on this platform so that the whole country can actually see and yeah, it will be exciting to be part of this. I love what you're doing. I'm a woman, so I should also.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll give the
platform.
final, the platform to come and share their experience and their story, obviously on top of what you're doing. Now, usually I like to ask this question. It's got nothing to do with what you're doing, but let's get a little bit personal, ladies. Yeah. So I'll start with Donna. Or should I start with Chuulu?
No. Donna can get a break. Be like, ooh, that's what's coming.
Yeah. And I know we rarely ask ourselves this question, but I'd like to ask this question now, especially the times that we're in. Today you're okay, the next day you're normal. If, Donna, you were on your deathbed and you were given a second chance to live, what would you do differently?
That's a beautiful question. I actually am going back because I had a podcast with her where I was talking about my identity, hitting my teens and being confused about who I am and trying to live by what society expects me to be. Literally ate through most of my life because I was in a closet of not knowing how to express myself because society thinks, oh my God, you don't get to do that as a woman. So it happened a bit later, my self-identity in my 20s. If I was given a chance to go back, I think I would stick to what I started doing when I hit my teens and just throwing myself out there and being me the whole time. Because once I realized that I was more stressed out and with my life and not feeling happy every day, it's because I was trying to be what people expected me to be. But the day I decided, I'm doing me. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I'm just going to be me. It was the best decision I've ever made. I've been the happiest from that time. So if I could be given a chance, I would literally just start what everybody thought was the crazy me. Just go with it.
Do you
unapologetically? Because now people have embraced that is me. Eventually, when you assert yourself and say, this is who I am, you like me, you don't like me, people will form themselves around you. If they want to be with you, they will be with you.
They will be with you.
So it's a very, very important thing that I think every woman, I know society expects us to behave a certain way, but what do you feel like you need to do for you?
Wow.
That's more important.
Chulu?
Do you know what? I would not change a thing. Because all of my experiences have made me who I am today. And I'm so grateful for who I am. I think a lot of people get caught up in, feeling shame around the negative things that have happened to them. And I don't think you have to feel shame, because the shame is what keeps you trapped. It's what holds you back from doing the things that you're destined, or or bringing out the greatness in you. But over the years, I've come to understand that, yes, these things may have happened to me, but they taught me a lesson. And if I had not been taught those lessons, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. So if I went and erased those things, I could be a completely different person.
Wow.
I would, I'd just be a different person. I wouldn't be me. But I'm so happy that I'm me. I'm at peace with what has happened to me. And just because it happened to me doesn't define who I am. It's something that happened. It wasn't great. I did not make great decisions, but I moved on. I learned, and I evolved, and I adapted. So all of those nuances of the things that have happened in my life happened for a reason. And I think it makes me more empathetic with the work that I do. Because when I talk to women, I can understand where they're coming from. Because I've been there, I've been that single mother. I'm still a single mother. I got pregnant in university. I am a survivor of rape. All of those things give me the empathy to relate to the women that I deal with, that I speak with. And I think it's important. I wouldn't erase a thing.
Wow. You ladies, I know we can't give hugs, but this is the best I can do. Whoa. So we've come to the end of the program, just like that. But I'd like to say thank you so much for everything that you're doing. The Sombo Makeover, obviously, I see it evolving to something big and a great movement, not just for Zambia, but for Africa. Ignite is here. If there's anything you need us to support, we're all here for you. And let's get the numbers. Let's push the numbers. Let's get the women
in the
out there
communities
to be part of this. So
Yes.
let's get the people out there in the communities to support this cause. So thank you so much, Donna. And thank you so much, Chuulu.
Thank you.
We'll obviously catch up with you later. Obviously, we're going to do a follow-up as we go. We do a build-up to the big day. So there you have it. The Sombo Makeover is here. If you're a woman, please go to the website and sign up. And remember that you're not alone, that we are together on this journey. Remember that we got you. We are women. We hold our hands
together.
We work together, and we make Zambia a better place. And we make your homes also a better place. There's no need for you to live in fear. Just remember that there's a whole team of sisters. There's a whole team of sisterhood that is right behind you and is supporting you. This has been Mwangala Chakalashi Santosh. And do join us for another exciting episode of Ignite with Mwangala.